This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Frozen 2 is a sequel to the popular Disney animated film Frozen. The new fairy tale about Elsa and Anna was presented to the audience by directors Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee 6 years after the first part, which won 2 Oscars. It seemed that the sequel would appear much earlier. Almost every year, the studio announced that they had a good idea for the sequel or that the final touches were added to the script, but only short films were released. Finally, in 2019, the fans of Frozen got an opportunity to watch Frozen 2. Its plot is emotionally concentrated not on the two sisters but on their parents' experience and other subjects. The purpose of this paper is to conduct a narrative structure analysis of Frozen 2 and cover the theme of the film as well as its following or deviating from the typical movie structure. Act 1, Setup. The film begins with a story about the enchanted forest that is told to the children, Anna and Elsa, by their father. Once the Northuldra tribe and the Arendelle soldiers made peace, the latter built a dam for the indigenous people. However, later, a war broke out between the countries. The spirits of the enchanted forest, enraged, drove Arendelle's troops beyond the forest. These events of the distant past might be regarded as a background to the main action of the movie that lets the viewers understand the context and easily follow the story. The narration continues 3 years after the last episode of Frozen. Elsa hears a mysterious voice and, following it, accidentally awakens the spirits of the enchanted forest, whose forces began to cause panic in the kingdom of Arendelle. However, subsequently, the residents have time to leave. Grandfather Pabbie calls on Elsa, Anna, and their friends to go to the forest, where she must pacify the spirits. It is the inciting incident of the film that creates a problem to be solved by the main characters. Besides, it arouses interest in the audience. The sequence of events described above is the setup, or Act 1. Act 2, Confrontation. In Act 2, or the confrontation, Elsa's fight with the elementals on the way to where the voice leads her is demonstrated. Having reached the forest, Elsa, her sister Anna, Kristoff, Sven the deer, and Olaf the snowman encounter the air spirit in the form of a tornado. Elsa destroys the whirlwind with the power of magic. Soon, the inhabitants of the enchanted forest are attacked by the spirit of fire. Trying to stop the elemental, Elsa sees that the spirit of fire is a harmless magical salamander. Elsa calms it down and prevents a forest fire. Afterward, following the mysterious voice, the princess goes to the north and discovers the place where her parents' ship has wrecked. They tried to get to Otahallan, a river of memory. Elsa reaches the water reservoir and finds out that the mysterious voice that has beckoned her during the course of the film belongs to Iduna, her mother. The river shows Elsa that her grandfather has tried to harm the Northuldra tribe. The only way to set the spirits of the enchanted forest free is to destroy the dam. This point is the climax of the movie plot that keeps the audience in suspense. Act 3, Resolution and the Themes. The dam collapses and the water flow goes to Arendelle. That is why Elsa rushes to the kingdom and prevents the flood. After that, Kristoff makes Anna a marriage proposal which she accepts. Anna is proclaimed the new queen of Arendelle, and Elsa remains in the enchanted forest to protect it. These events can be regarded as Act 3 or the resolution of the conflict. As in many Disney movies, Frozen 2 has a happy ending. The structure of the film mostly reminds of the typical plots of fairy tale animated films. Usually, in such a movie, there is a problem to solve, and the main character together with his or her friends overcomes all the obstacles and at the same time, learns some important lessons. Speaking about the way Frozen 2 deviates from the typical structure, the main difference is that the action is driven forward mostly by magic. This creates the impression that the characters remain passive. The peculiarity is closely connected with another difference, which is the fact that the characters do not progress much throughout the plot. Under the group mission, they have no chance to evolve. For instance, Kristoff proposes to Anna, which becomes evident at the beginning of the story, and this is the only significant deed of his. As for the themes, they include colonization and minority representation, toxic masculinity, and sisterhood, the first one being of great importance. The victimized natives are the inhabitants of the enchanted forest who did not benefit from a dam. Eventually, they receive freedom and become protected by Elsa. She is shown as an ideal colonizer who protects the natives and does not abuse them. Conclusion. In conclusion, it is significant to press the point that Frozen 2 has a rather typical plot, the main peculiarity being that it is magic that drives the action. Besides, the characters of the movie do not develop much. In this respect, Frozen 2 is different from other films of this kind. Unlike Frozen, the second film is centered on the problem of colonization and pays less attention to the relationships between Elsa and Anna. Did you like this Frozen 2 concept and plot analysis sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the free database of academic paper examples at ivypanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs without even having to register.